The Postal Service is fully capable and committed to delivering the nation's ballots securely and on time. This sacred duty is my #1 priority between now and Election Day.
That was Postmaster General Louis DeJoy testifying before the House Oversight Committee earlier this week. Some Democrats claim that DeJoy is working with the president to harm the Postal Service ahead of the election, affecting mail-in voting. Here to discuss balls and strikes regarding mail-in ballots and others in the upcoming election cycle is Katelyn Caralle. She's the U.S. political reporter with the Daily Mail. Katelyn, thank you for joining us. So how has a mailbox become the latest political football?
Right. So Louis DeJoy is unfortunately stuck in the middle of this between the Democrats, Republicans, and the president. He only came into this job about 2.5 months ago, not even 2.5 months ago now. And he says that what they're trying to pass in the House and now is going to the Senate, the $25 billion that they're asking for USPS, is not needed. And he is saying that the USPS can handle this even if universal mail-in ballots are implemented in November.
And the left is saying, but the concern is that the Postal Service won't be able to handle the volume, and therefore it'll be a corrupt election, right?
Right. I mean, he's saying that they will be able to handle it, and he doesn't see any concerns currently at the post office. He has said that he will not make any more changes at the post office before the elections to make sure that it all runs smoothly. And he is saying that there's not going to be any problems. Whether or not, whether or not Republicans or Democrats believe that is up in the air, as this has become obviously a partisan issue. Democrats are saying that they feel he is trying to not take that money from them and trying to say that they don't need it because he's trying to influence the election. And obviously the post office and Republicans feel differently.
So you cover politics, and I assume you're watching these campaigns go on, over the last couple of weeks. Your thoughts on the difference between the Democrats' highly virtual convention and the Republicans trying to put more, I guess, live people in seats in front of other people? What's the production value? What's the takeaway, do you say?
Right. So Republicans are obviously trying to do a return to normalcy. That's kind of what their whole week is about. So by getting an actual audience in there and doing more live remarks and producing it almost like it would be a normal convention just without the massive crowds is definitely their strategy. And Democrats are taking it more like they're trying to produce it almost like any other kind of big production on TV. They're making a lot of more short clips, quick remarks. They're doing a lot of cuts. They had different people reading the preamble they were having like big cuts between that, trying to get as many people in as possible and involved. So there was definitely a big difference in terms of how it flowed.
Do you think, and I'm just speculating as we speak, and again, this is balls and strikes, just want facts, but let me rephrase that. Is there a word, do people believe that there may be some sort of subtle, I don't know, reminder among the Democrats that we're still in a coronavirus, therefore they're going to keep the masks on, they're going to keep it virtual Zoom meeting type, whereas the Republicans are saying, oh, it's not as bad as everyone's making out to seem. Is that one of the themes, subtle themes in these two conventions?
Of course, like I said, with the Republicans, they're trying to make it a return to normalcy, as in a return to normalcy from coronavirus and it shaking the nation like this. So by having a crowd, by having more live events, by having less masks, by holding it at public areas instead of like Democrats were doing it a lot more remote in people's houses or whatever. They are trying to show that they're still cautious about this. Joe Biden obviously said if he became president, he's going to issue a mask mandate. So they're really focusing on that with the production values of the conventions as well. Okay,
less than a minute or so, Katelyn, if you just give us, any surprises over the last 2 weeks conventions?
Not a bunch of surprises. There obviously were the naturalization ceremony at the White House for the Republican convention was a surprise for some, and Trump pardoning the former felon. And those were some big surprises. On the Democrat side, I think everything was pretty laid out ahead of time, so there weren't any huge surprises there in terms of production and in terms of what they brought to the table.
Fantastic. We'll leave it right there. Welcome to the show, first time, Katelyn Caralle from the Daily Mail political reporter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.